Today, ScorchedToys@anymoon.com is taking a closer look at Bandai's Super Ghost accessory for their VF-31AX toys. This accessory was a Tamashii exclusive limited to Japan where it cost 11,000 yen. As an exclusive, you can't find this accessory at Big Bad Toy Store, but you can still grab a VF-31AX to pair with this accessory, along with loads of other great stuff. Hit my link in the comments below to do some shopping and support this channel. As with all Tamashii exclusive, this set comes in a brown shipper box. Inside you'll find a retail box. Fair warning here, I finally watched this movie, so I now understand this accessory a bit better, but I may dive into some spoilers as we talk about everything we have here. The box contains the two ghosts with their super parts. I don't think we ever see the ghosts without their super parts, so it's a nice touch that they're removable. We also get a hand with a peg in it and the siren system for it to hold. The second tray has two display stands with their bases, arms, and either adapters or claws for supporting that weight. Behind it, you'll find instructions. We have now been blessed with several Ghost toys, and I'm pretty excited about that. But Bandai, you really should give us that Macross Plus Ghost because it was pivotal to the storyline and it'd be cool to have. But this is now the largest Ghost we've gotten since Yamato did their Macross Zero Ghost. And this toy does feature, well, it got this articulated booster in the back, and it's got these landing gear that are integrated, which I think is a really nice touch. And Bandai gave us integrated landing gear on their little Drakens, which I also think is a very nice touch. And so I was a little let down that this Ghost is the most similar in size to that Macross Zero Ghost, but really has no integrated features whatsoever other than the little rear stabilizer there. So for me, you know, it seems like there could have been something here, though to be fair, in the movie, there really wasn't anything else shown. We don't see landing gear or something like that. But if you're hoping there's gonna be nice little design touches, it's much more like the Macross Frontier Ghost that we got, which is much smaller, so I thought it was a little more forgivable. But there's nothing you can really do with these. This at least has super parts, so let's check that out. Converting to Super Ghost is pretty quick and easy. You could begin with this front nose piece here. It just slides on, that little gun's underneath. It kind of locks into place there, and it is firm. It's not going anywhere once it's there. No real gimmicks, but it looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and do a wing mounted booster next. Now, these do have some sort of a design element to them. That's gonna go on top like it does on the nose piece there, and you just slide these in, and you can see on this side there's a little indent there, so as you slide in the booster, this peg clasps into place, and then it's going to be nice and firm. These boosters here are not articulated, that's not a ball joint, they're firm. But these ones on the back, you do get a little articulated nozzle there, and there's just two pegs that go right into the back, and they're gonna lock into place. And when you've got everything put together, it is definitely solid. We can bring this back down. So this is gonna whoosh around just fine. You could, if you wanted to, play around with angling the wings, but really that only happens in the show when it attaches to the 31AX. So there you are, great looking piece. The included display stand is the same that's come with some other Bandai accessories in the past. You've got these long joints here. Each one has a head to a screw on it. So if these start getting loose on you, you can tighten them up. I've got the adapter on there right now. You're gonna take your Ghost, you can bring down that stabilizer, that pegs right in, and then there you go. You've got your Ghost on there. You can manipulate it to look flat or more angled, whatever you prefer, but that's generally what's happening here. We can come up tall. There's that looseness in place, but generally you can find something that's gonna work without having to tighten it up. And then you obviously have that ability to tighten it. So we can pop this off. We can remove the adapter here, and then we can grab our VF-31AX toy. Now, if you have it on the landing gear, this is not gonna work for you. This toy has to be elevated in order for this to work. And then there is on the side here, a little slot meant to receive that ghost peg there. You're gonna have to recess the vertical stabilizer, line things up, and then press in with a tremendous amount of force. Now it's a little tricky because this piece here rotates around. So if you don't get that straight in, it's gonna rotate and then it's not gonna work for you. Also, it's very tricky because the fit is incredibly tight. So I am going to get it halfway in so you can kind of see, and then I will bring the wings out like you would have them. There you go, I didn't get in all the way. So I will do the rest off camera. I'm gonna just push with all my might while I try to hold that stable, and then we'll get both on so you can see what that's like. Now you don't have to have the guns on top of your 31AX. In the movie, he's got part of the accessories from the armor parts up top. So we'll explore that in a bit too. All right, I've got everything together now. And as you can see, it's a pretty impressive piece. There are a few little things that I think could have made it a little nicer to handle. The first is a detent on this rotation point, right? There's nothing there. It's great that it rotates. You can have a lot of fun with dynamic displays, but it'd be nice if it had like some natural home locations so that you would know that it's on exactly the same plane with the rest of the toy. The same thing is true with these outer wings. So they angle, but they're just on hinges. And so you're gonna put them where you think they go, and then you're gonna go to the other side and repeat that exercise and try to get everything symmetrical. But if they had little notches, you would be able to get them right where they belong, and that'd be all good. Now it seems like Bandai was concerned with the weight of this accessory, so they gave us the little claspers, and then you can bring this in and support the weight somewhere along there. Would I ever do that? Probably not. It doesn't seem to me like it's creating so much weight that it's gonna be an issue, but if you're really concerned about that, then certainly you could use those. Now, one paint little complaint I have, or something to point out here that doesn't seem right, both of these ghosts are marked 09. And you would think if those are to identify the ghost, one would be 09, the other would be like 08, perhaps. So a little weird that they both have the same number, but I don't think that's a big issue for most folks. I left my toy overnight, and I might have bumped the table at some point, but when I came back, the ghosts had settled into a slightly lower position, so that makes the argument for using these stands more so than any durability concern. If you really want to make sure it looks just the same as when you left it, get these stands underneath and prop them up, and that'll alleviate that concern. Now, I do have one, I think it's a major complaint about this accessory, and that is that it doesn't come with everything that it should. In the movie, Hayate no longer has this gun pod on. And when he goes out to fight the final battle, he is using his armor parts. And as he goes through the battle, he removes all of the armor except these giant guns that go right on top. So this now is the look that we saw in the movie. But you would have to buy these guns as part of the armor accessory. So I think that's pretty cheap on Bandai. They made you get two accessories to get the look from the scene you want, instead of just including these guns with the ghosts. Maybe you'll have better luck with gear walk mode than I did. It seems like it should allow some cool dynamic poses because you can move these ghosts however you wanted, but it's just been a disaster for me. And you would want to use the supports, but even just like getting the supports in there in a way that's good and solid has been difficult. I have to use the display stand because there's now so much weight on the back of the toy that if you don't use the display stand, you don't have this support that comes from the front and grabs onto the back. And so the back of the toy and the front of the toy just kind of split into a V. And so it won't even maintain the mode with all that weight on the back. And definitely the weight on the back is doing things like, you can see the wing is actually sitting below, well, maybe you can see it. The wing is actually sitting below that front plate. So definitely some strain going on there. So again, you would use these supports, but I just think it's kind of a disaster overall. So I'm going to continue on to Batroid. I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone. If you haven't seen it, Hayate does go spend some time with another girl band. And when he comes back, he has a daughter. And he brings his daughter back in this baby pod, which is a nice accessory for Bandai to have given us. It does open up, which just has a blue painted lens there. Yes, it would have been cooler if that was like translucent with something behind it. But there is an extending hinge, which I thought was a pretty nice feature. So it opens up all the way. Press that down, close that. Once it's fully closed, it is a little tricky to open, but not too bad. We also got this accessory hand with the peg in it. And then there's that little slot on the bottom of this thing. Where's the bottom? There it is. And that just goes right in like so. And then I can pop off the hand here, pop on the hand there, and then, hey, get in there. Why is everything so hard all the time? There it goes. Well, it popped right off. We can put that on again. There we go. So now he's like, look at me, I got a baby. Batroid mode is only nominally better with the ghosts attached. That is clearly a lot of weight past what was the center of gravity. So now if you tried to stand up the toy without a display stand, it's just going to topple backwards. Fortunately, unlike Garewalk mode, it's not actually going to partially transform as it falls apart on you. It'll just fall over, which I guess is worse. The good news is if you're using the display stand, the little accessory display stands now are a lot more easily used because you can just tuck in the little claspers inside the booster of the Ghost. And that nicely supports things and kind of makes it so I can even move this around a little bit while I talk to you without things falling apart. So I like that. I've put the armor guns back on top, even though as soon as Hayate turns to Batroid mode, he pops the guns off. So if you were getting this accessory and you didn't get the guns, you would probably display Batroid mode like this to be most like the movie, I guess. And then in the movie, he actually holds the guns and fires them, which I'm pretty sure was just trying to be a Do You Remember Love homage, because why would there be a difference? It doesn't make any sense. But that's what they did. So this is what you get with just the ghosts. It's fine. So this is roughly how it looks in the movie. He pops it off, he grabs it with his hands, and he brings it around and he shoots it for some reason out of his hands. Now, the one thing I'm pointing out here is that you only get 2 of these little accessory bases, but you need to hold the gun, in theory, with another accessory base. So you kind of come up one short, but that's okay because they didn't actually give you these guns, right? So I don't know, just deal with it. I am a fan of the VF-31AX toys, especially in Batroid mode. I think they work really well. I think the Ghost is a very attractive design. I think it's got good paint on it, and I think as a standalone thing, it's plain, but the super parts attach firmly, and it's a well-built toy, so those are positive things. I like that it can rotate. I like that it attaches firmly to the toy. But once it's on the toy, I hate pretty much everything about it. It just makes the toy super cumbersome and takes what is a fun and dynamic toy and turns it into something that can only exist with a display stand and supports. So this is only an accessory I recommend for 2 people. One, people who just want to pose ghosts next to their 31AX toys, which is a fine thing to do. It's a little expensive for that, but not, this is Macross, everything's expensive. Or people who want to have a static pose that reminds them of the shot in the movie that they really jived with, sure, that's going to work. If you like handling your toy at all, pass. This is not for you. This is weird, cumbersome, poorly designed and thought out, and just, hey, it would work great in zero gravity. I guess we got to give them that because that's where all these scenes took place in the movie. If you agree with me, leave a comment. If you disagree with me, keep it to yourself because nobody wants to hear that negativity, okay? Actually, no, you can leave me a comment. It's fine. And then also subscribe, people. I like when you subscribe. It means a lot to me. And thanks for watching. Catch you next time.